on.
This is Peter Beams, and I'm going to read to you one of the books that was stolen long ago, long before long ago. Many millions of books make up the Book of Knowledge. And this happens to be one of the books, and it's the Book of Knowledge, and it's the first epistle of the Leucadian Love Light, the Book of Nardonians. And we start the book here. We start at the Golden Highway, stretching out further than your imagination. And one sign says, to opportunity with no guarantees, and the other one, happiness and security. For as you give, so you will receive. The Golden Highway. You can be in its abundant flow, or you can be on the sidewalk of lack. It is totally your choice. Your mind decides abundance or lack, or love or hate. You decide. Only you. Give. Giving is living, and living is giving. Love. Love all unconditionally. Be kind to everyone, and above all, love. Today, live just today. Do only good. And all bounteous fruits abide on the road called giving. It leads to all happiness. A cold, hard way is the cobbled road called taking. It leads to a town called lackluster and descent, and is hard on the shores of the great mud lake of disaster. Giving is living, and living is giving. The Golden Highway. I am divinely led. Follow the right fork in the road. God makes a way when there is no way. Two people alighted from the bus of life at the junction of decision. One side said, the land of all opportunity, the other, the valley of happiness and security. The first person in the blue hat said to the other, which is it to be? The one in the red hat, after much deliberation, said, the valley of all happiness and security. That's the one for me. I'm divinely led. I follow the right fork in the road. God makes a way where there is no way. Two people alighted from the bus of life at the junction of decision. One sign said, the land of opportunity. The other, the valley of happiness and security. The first person in the blue hat said to the other, which is it to be? The one in the red hat, after much deliberation, said, the valley of all happiness and security is the one for me. How do you know you'll be happy there? The other asked. Why, it said so, of course, the one in the red hat replied with certain conviction. You mean just because someone tells you it's so, you believe it? The other questioned, very much wanting an answer. I believe it because of the options. Opportunity. Why, it could mean the opportunity to fail. At least the valley spells out its principles. Happiness. I want that security it gives me. That, yes, a solid basis for success, I'd say. The one in the blue hat eyed the sloping hills to the west. I'm going for opportunity with all its unpredictability, a land based on individuals' desire to succeed. The decisions are mine for either success or failure. You may well find happiness and security, and I hope you do, but it will be governed and given by others. You will be a pawn on their chessboard, beholden to them and their every whim. I want to be free, free to stand or fall. They shook hands and turning started walking towards their prospective destinies. Years later, Many years later, they met again at a city meeting in the Valley of all happiness and security. Well, hello there. Fancy meeting you here. The person from Opportunity smiled broadly as the person with the red hat from Happiness and Security entered the room. Hello, I was going to ask you how things have been going, but I see from your sad face none too well. The person from the Valley of Happiness looked out over the beautiful valley. You're right. It's terrible, just awful. You mean it hasn't been happiness and security like the sign said? Oh no, the person in the red hat sighed. Far from it. Happiness, yes, just enough, no more. You have a family then. The person in the red hat dug into an official looking case and produced pictures of a happy, beautiful family. You're very lucky. My work hasn't permitted me yet. Your security? Yes, that's been acceptable too. We work for a fixed wage plus a small house. Go to work every day, bus, train, bus, train. But overall, one can't complain. It's security. So what, the person in the blue hat asked with a puzzled look, is the problem? The problem is the company that owns all this being taken over by a larger conglomerate from another state. They've told us that many of us will have to move because they're going to build a great highway that will cut through this great valley, open up this area and beyond. They don't seem to care that this will destroy the beauty and tranquility of this peaceful and happy community. Happiness and security, it'll be no more. I came here for those reasons, and now something beyond my control is going to destroy all I've worked for. But enough of my troubles. Why are you here? The great metropolis of opportunity not turning out the way you expected? Not at all. In fact, it surpassed my wildest dreams. I started out as a janitor working for a builder. I always tried to do more than I was paid for, tried to make the job fun, and add any innovative ideas that could save the contractor money. It paid off. I was able, with contracts, to start my own construction company. It was very tough at first, living hand to mouth, but I had a dream, and the people of opportunity were incredibly helpful.
3, 2, 1, go.
It seemed the more successful I became, the happier they were. Together we tried to make. Start again?
Yeah.
It seemed the more successful I became, the happier they were. Together we tried to make life simpler, built and gave people houses that were self-sufficient units, making their own energy through solar power, gardeners grew all their needs, leisure centers where people could relax and play sports. So you have it. The person in the red hat's mouth fell open. It's you! Your company brought all this dissension and unhappiness upon us. How could you? Could you have not just been happy in opportunity? Hey, hold on a minute. Opportunity will allow you to choose what it is you want and not be dictated to by security and all its money hungry manipulators who are out for their own selfish motives and interests and whose people's fates at the drop of a paperclip. The person in the red hat laughed. And you mean you're different? Of course. We all work together, making opportunities for everyone. You can work with us on new and different development projects to do with the Golden Highway. It's exciting. We're going much further, building houses for all underprivileged and disenfranchised with free utilities and no rent. They will get good wages working on the Golden Highway projects. Also, they will be provided with holiday hours, free. See those snow-capped mountains? The person in the red hat gazed at the familiar peaks. Yes, nobody ever goes there. It's too dangerous. They're called the impossible peaks. The person smiled. Those are the ones, but I call them the possible peaks. We're going to build a great leisure center there for skiing, indoor sports, herbal baths, hot springs for the handicapped, and an adventure park for the underprivileged. And past that, a great city of flowers and trees in the desert of never ever. You're crazy and nuts. You're going to destroy security and then waste its wealth on the impossible peaks and the never ever desert. You'll never ever, like the desert, succeed. You'll never know it. I'll make sure the people fight you. You're crazy. It'll take billions just to blast a road into the mountains, let alone build a resort on the side of the mountain. Do you and your friends have that sort of money? The person in the red hat smiled, a benign, self-assured smile. No, no, you don't. You go back to opportunity. Leave us alone before you end up in court. Leave us to pursue being happy and secure in this valley. The person looked wistfully at the person in the red hat. But you said yourself you aren't really happy. Not top of the morning, click of your heels, head over heels, have a great day happy. You have no goals, no dreams, no ambitions, no clouds to ride. You wake up to the same monotonous routine every day with nothing to look forward to but your pension. You hate your work, you hate the travel, you hate yourself. It doesn't have to be that way. Look out there at the Golden Highway stretching forever in your imagination. It's not the money. Money is but a guide, a way to keep score, a way to give and help others. Money is just God in action. Money doesn't do the work. You and I do the work by dreaming and imagination and conceiving seemingly impossible tasks and then achieving them anyway. Money can make the way smoother, but never be a barrier to prevent great works from succeeding. Whatever you can think, big or small, that will be your reward. Bargain with your world for a nickel and you'll receive nothing. but bargain for a gazillion and you will receive a million or more. The mind is that doorway to success by thinking rich and successful thoughts. This will bring into your presence. Come on, gamble, unshackle your mind, break your walls of limited thinking, and climb the mountain of abundance. Come on, join with us. No, I'll come to court and join the crowd to see you're sued by your creditors. Well, I hope you will stay. We need a person like you to keep doing the great job you do. But of course, there will be no more traveling. You'll keep your house and you'll have your own car and 3 months of holidays a year at the Possible Peak Center with your own cabin. No, 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 just leave us. Leave us, please. Well, think about it anyway. And before I forget, when I first arrived in Opportunity, an old man gave me this book. It helped me overcome many obstacles that I found on my path. I'll give it to you and hope it will help you, help that it gave me. The person in the blue hat placed it on the table, then took leave. The person in the red hat was still angry, but couldn't help being intrigued with what was in the gold wrapping paper. The person slowly unwrapped the book. Millions and millions are locked in their mind, never knowing it's possible. The Mind Farm. Set it free. I can. A course of cultivating the farming, the positive, and the best from life. What are you growing in your fields? Orson Swett Morden. Prosperity begins in the mind. Everything must be created mentally first. It is bound to follow its mental path. It's possible. A land of milk and honey, irrigated by a river called Possible, that meanders the deepest, darkest recesses of people's untapped imagination, until hopelessness in its hour of need gropes frantically for its dynamic, life-saving ideas. Unfettered, uncontrolled, the river Possible remains, but water passing through an unfertile land until finally it evaporates in a desert of negativity, controlled and damned. It becomes a mighty energy capable of building and rebuilding cities, reaching for cures for incurable diseases. It's possible if you know it. The minute your hand opened these pages, you slowed those waters. By reading these pages, you'll be able to dam your own river, so that the uncontrolled, uneven flow becomes a nozzle jet, able to wash out all the dross and negatives clinging to the crannies and walls of your mind, and water the barren wastes that make for only negative thoughts, and allow the fertile valley of possibilities to blossom with the hope of incredible tomorrows. A jet of positives flowing out into the fields, town, villages, so that your world becomes one of abundance. It's possible if you want it. For the law is, whatever person concentrates on, that will be their reality. That is the law of laws. Give and you must receive. Take and it'll be taken. Live by the sword, cause and immutable effect. Giving is living and living is giving. The title blazed out into his eyes. It's possible. All you have to do is simply turn a switch in your head, either on for positive or off for it can't be done. Throw gold into the dust, the gold of Ophir, amongst the pebbles of the streams, and the Almighty shall be your gold, your silver, your riches. The old man's book. It said it's possible. Even if the firing squad of life has you in its sights, it's possible. When every human and worldly indication says you are out for the count, finished, washed up, defeated, up against a wall with the officer of life ready to drop an arm to signal your last breath. Stop. Stop every thought. Take yourself outside yourself, physically or mentally, and look at God's incredible, fantastic world. Stop. Stop. Stop your negative, self-absorbed, negative thinking and know that as you're on the bottom of a negative seesaw, others are riding high, the other end. They are there because they look beyond the world of effect, the effect of negative thinking, and stayed in a world of cause. Cause being God Almighty, the architect of all positive, wonderful, and incredible things. Cause there is no finish, no end, just wonderful, fantastic beginnings. God's world is a world of abundance. It is a world of cycles. Just look, the tide goes out, leaving a barren pool, pitted, estuary, but come evening, it's full again. With life force of pregnant, sea gives sustenance to all creatures that seemingly lay high and dry throughout the day. Look at the sun's rising, setting, to the fall and waning moon, to winter's barren and naked trees, standing skeleton to the ice wind blown days. But inside every tree is a miracle, working of nature. As Jesus said, see the harvest in the fields before its time. The trees are alive, waiting to show their abundance in the springtime. Even though appearances would beg the difference, those trees are filled with nature, the apparel of beauty and sustenance. As St. Paul said, do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, which is done by faith and an instinctive knowledge that God has put in all of us, the knowledge of right and wrong. When every indication is that you are through, that is the time to know. If you stand still and look to God, the Creator, that God will somehow, some way solve the situation. That is absolutely the truth of the universe. It may not be united with human thinking, be the outcome you were looking for or expecting, but you can believe if you have asked God for help and an answer that God has already answered. That is not wishful thinking, but simple, the same fate. That which brings the tides back, that which fills the trees with fruit and heaviness of waving leaves. Your bills may not be paid, your mortgage overdue, love flown out the door, marriage on the rocks. Then and only then is the bullhorn of its possible ready to blare out its message. Stand up, shoulders back, attention to the colossal possibilities, never ending of the universe, God's special garden of Eden, Earth. You are here for a mission to show everyone that whatever it is, however impossible it may be, it's possible. With God's help and guidance, pray and you will be answered before you pray. It's possible to overcome any human condition or roadblock as long as you fill your tank with high octane fuel called hope and driven on the road by a driver called faith. Then it's possible to arrive at your destination while driving through jagged passes of mountains called impossible. When you don't have a car, phone, or job, it's possible to write a best-selling book. It's possible because every fiber, sand molecule, bird flying, grass swaying, horse neighing, tree or bush budding is God. Because God is in every fiber and atom of every living thing, including us, because made us. Therefore, God will see you through every good and desirable effort that we undertake with faith and desire to make this world a better place. God is in us. God is the universe. God created. God related everything. It's possible when you know it's knowing that someone else has achieved success in some field spurs us on to do even better and proves that what was understood to be impossible, in fact, is possible. If you're ill with seemingly no hope of cure or recovery, that is when life tests us to invoice the possible. If you haven't a job or a penny, a roof over you, know it's possible. With seemingly nothing to become president of the biggest corporation, the strength is knowing. Know it, sow it, grow it, hoe it, bestow it, and let it flow. It's possible. God, if we are to believe the Bible, God's playbook of life made us in his own image. Not to slither as a snake, but to walk upright with a decision-making brain, basking in his world of bright possibilities. It's possible. It's the knowledge, Governor, how to even ride clouds. It's the knowledge, Governor, from the Apostle, Alf the taxi cab driver, the Epistle by Peter of St. Pancras, the ancient understanding, knowledge of how to live and tackle life successfully. Giving is living and living is giving. As you mete out to the river of life, so it will be as a consequence, deliver floods wrought on by a balanced stream of happiness as life goes on. Know it, just know it. Don't throw it all away. Open it carefully before you display. The mind is a universe of positive play. Doesn't have time for your negative ways. Know it, just know it. Your worlds will obey. The powers in your brain and no one can contain. Know it, just know it. That's what you'll produce. You can't be thinking apples when drinking orange juice. Know it. Be true. Believe it. Know it. To achieve or manifest anything in this life, you must know implicitly that that thing you wish to be true is true to yourself. Just know it, through and through. Cary Grant knew it when he pretended to be somebody I wanted to be. Finally, I became that person, or he became me. He knew what he wanted to be. He invoked the law of knowing. Know it. Know it. You must embrace the thought as true. It was already manifest in your world, so you must make room in the garage for the new car before it's actually there, and through faith see it parked there every time you come home. Sow it. Then deep in your mind, secretly in a well-watered bed of positive neon, share that picture with no one, for it will dilute its power to bud and flower. It's akin to digging up a seedling to see it as sprouting. Secrecy is a powerful tool. Grow it. In the secret for lies the power. Right? Grow it is the secret, for there lies the power. In a good environment, no loud rap music or a lot of partying, a good even keel peaceful life, you nourish that thought of knowing it to be so with positives of it will be, as I believe, you strengthen this belief with knowing it's possible. Hoe it. There has to be a continual weeding and hoeing of this well-watered ground where this magical knowing is planted deep in your subconscious. Keep the positive free of the negative weeds. Put positive mulch on any sign of negative gorse water with joy, hope, laughter, and yes it is. Mow it. Keep the knowledge of the known. Keep the knowledge of the know it tidy. A neat office is always to be found at the super successful CEO's home quarters. Show it. When the know it blooms, show it off. Let others see your manifestations. Some will be jealous, but many will be encouraged to try this unseen force themselves and find the power that can literally move mountains. Bestow it to others for the secret of life. Giving is living and living is giving. For the more you give knowledge away, the more it comes back to you. Flow it. Flow it out into the universe. Let it flow to everyone. For only the seeds of knowing will be the fruit manifest. Giving is living and living is giving. And that, Jimmy, is the secret to riding clouds. Any other man thought impossible. We couldn't go to the moon, let alone walk on it. We couldn't fly, riding bicycles, television, radios, walk on water, or even more. Take equals naught. Giving equals thought. And that is all the things sought. Give, and you will need to be given to. You can live your life on one side or other of life's highway. Live in a city called It's Possible, with new bright shops and high rises, fantastic, helpful, giving businesses popping up left and right, where people dress in the bright positive colors that have beautiful smiles printed on their happy faces. Or be living in salt levity, hard by gloom in the country of impossible, where everything is hopeless. Even dogs have given up barking. It's wonderful because God has given you a choice. It's possible. Even in the darkest times, just as the tide rolls back, there must follow daylight and God's truth that if you set your sights on some wonderful helping goal, you will succeed. That is God's promise. But you have to prove your worth by having faith and patience to watch and work to see this miracle unfold. As the priest said to the weeping man who needed food and diapers for his baby and a miracle to pay his rent, as I read this, my eyes fill with tears because I was that man. You may not have the miracle today, the priests say. You may not even have that miracle tomorrow, but God will give you a miracle, I promise. 3 days later, an abundant, incredible miracle. How do I know? Because, friends, that and 1,000 other miracles happened to me. Giving is living and living is giving. The cheerful giver. But this I say, who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver, and God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that you always have all sufficiency in all things, have abundance for every good work. And that's what social gardens do, my friend. Now he who supplies the seed to the sower, God of course supplies that seed, and the bread for food, supply and multiply the seed you have sown, the increase, the fruits of your righteousness. So know this God watches you and supplies your every prayer and need, although it may not be obvious to our small minds at the time. God paints a gigantic canvas, and we only see a dab of a number one brush. But if we do good to all and share and give all that we can endeavor to do, big or small, will be possible to all of us. It's possible, the end of the old man's book, and so the years rolled on. By opportunity grew larger and larger. That valley of happiness and security weathered the change. The impossible peaks became a showpiece. The never-ever desert springs began to bloom with flowers, orchards, and rare fruits of every kind, bringing tourists from near and far to see its natural treasures. Then, on a fateful Friday night, the stock market crashed. Inopportunity collapsed. The never-ever desert without funds died. As if to compound the troubles, a great avalanche swept the majority of the impossible peaks away. It swept it into the valley below. The person from opportunity saw it in a matter of hours. The great empire of hopes and dreams dashed on the rocks of circumstance and beyond. Sounds like a pandemic to me. Anybody's control except the master builder. And of course, in the next few weeks and months, the I told you so, it can be done, and all manner of negative thinkers prowl the corridors of power to point out and sing their joy at seeing one of them fail miserably as they had so rightly predicted. At a time long past that fateful stock market crash, driving back along the Golden Highway from viewing the disaster at Impossible, the person from opportunity pulled in to refuel at a beautiful new station on the outskirts of the Valley of all happiness and security. It was far from just a service station. It seemed like a grand amusement park with cabins, rides, and all manner of fun-filled things to do. The person stepped into the office to pay for the gasoline. A happy hello greeted the traveler. Well, it's you, the person from opportunity smiled. What are you doing out here? The red-hatted person from happiness and security walked briskly towards the person from opportunity with confidence and determination that had not been there before. The person waved his hand around at the great space. I own all this. Well, congratulations. The red-hatted person with sadness in his voice said, I hear everybody's suing you. Yes, that's right, but that is one of the prices of living in the land of opportunity. Well, just as I told you, you took on more than you could handle, more than you could chew, but there was no meanness or self-righteousness in the person from Security's voice. In fact, the exact opposite. No, not exactly. We just have to rearrange, refund, and start again. But you have done so well in this beautiful spot. Yes, it is. It's one of the 5 we own. We have more planned. Do you remember 3 months holiday you gave us? All expenses paid in opportunity? Well, we took it, although I was still very angry at you. Your people were wonderful and kind. Just as you said, they showed me how to implement the things that were in that wonderful little book you gave me. I realized that you'd been saying was right. Security was nothing without hope for a better and more exciting future. Security was like a heated room, breeding a sluggish mind that peered out at the cold and made no move for fear of getting old. Sounds to me a lot like my friend in Watertown. Boring is just a state of mindlessness. There is no security in life. The only security is knowing there is none. I had a little money. I read the old man's book daily. And when you put Impossible Peaks Resort in and your Golden Highway opened up to Never Ever Desert, I opened a little gas station. The tourists began coming and they demanded boats and sporting equipment. You name it. It became with my service the gateway everybody paid for and bought when entering the great park you created. I now employ over 3,000 people in related businesses. Your Golden Highway has been just that to me. You made me rich, happy, and secure. The person from opportunity smiled with a smile of love. I'm very, very happy for you. Unfortunately, my creditors are not so happy with me. They will be auctioning off what's left of Never Ever and the Impossible Peaks. Never Ever will return to the desert, but it will rise again. Dreams don't die, they improve. If they have merit, others will come to carry the torch of opportunity. A tear appeared in the person's eye. The sun sparkled on the snowy slopes of Impossible Peaks. An arm touched the person. What would it take to get it going again? I'm crying. The person from opportunity turned and told the one-time residents of happiness and security. It would, I guess, take someone who knows it's possible. The red-hatted person smiled a whimsical smile. Here, the person handed a small book from a great pile sitting on the counter to the person from opportunity. The person turned it over and saw the title, It's Possible. I had them published, and I give them to everybody who comes through my stores. It's my thank you. You didn't notice when you drove in that we call this place, my company, IPOs. It's possible with optimism, which creates opportunity. I will give you the wherewithal to build it again. We will be partners, and we will give to all who come to these gardens and peaks the secret to living, knowing it's possible through faith and belief. Life is always a winner to those who keep a burning, positive attitude in their soul. It's possible with optimism, which leads to opportunities that are made by others giving the golden highway to it's possible. For your faith and belief will carry the day. David and Goliath, Washington, Churchill, Nelson, Daniel, and the lions. Anything can be achieved if you believe. The miracle of the Red Sea, the sacrifice of Abraham's son, the ram caught in the bush. It's possible with optimism, which leads to opportunities. They are made by others giving. And there, my friends, is the end of one of the millions and billions of books from the Book of Knowledge. Your friend, Peter Beams.